Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my February wrap-up. So I read a total of 8 books in February. I really did not have a good reading month. Even though I read like a decent amount of books, a lot of them were just 2 and 3 stars. I didn't read any physical books in February. I read 8 books all on my Kindle. They were all ebooks. I honestly wasn't in the mood to read in February, which I think is why I didn't really read a lot and I didn't like a lot of what I read. I had trouble focusing. I just wasn't in the mood. I maybe was kind of slumpish. I don't know. I feel like I don't really go through slumps. It's just more like I can't focus enough to like sit down and read a book. Like my mind just wanders. So I don't know if that means I'm in a reading slump or if I just can't focus. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and talk about all 8 books I read in February. So the first book I read was Blind Pass by Tegan Hunter. This is the second book in the Carolina Comets series. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It is a hockey romance, a marriage of convenience romance. This follows Ryan and Rhodes, who do not get along. They really don't like each other. But they have a drunk night in Vegas and they end up getting married. Rhodes is a hockey player and the press ends up getting word of his marriage and it's all over the news. It's everywhere. Ryan and Rhodes decide to stay married for a year to help their reputation, and so the media doesn't make fun of them for getting married by mistake. I liked this. I thought it was very cute and very sweet, but it just felt very mediocre, very basic. I did like the romance and I liked how both characters had a lot of great banter between them. I like how they were both very supportive of each other. Like even though they didn't like each other at first, they still put on this act of being this married couple who supported each other, but you could tell like their support for one another was very genuine. There were definitely some really hot sex scenes in this book. And I don't know, it was just like an overall decent romance. The next book I read was Getting Real by Emma Chase. This is technically the 3rd book in the Getting Some series. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I actually vlogged while I was reading this book, so I will link that video down below if you want to know even more of my thoughts. So this follows Connor, who is a single dad and he's a doctor, and Violet is a nurse, and they both work together and they both are kind of struggling with dating and the whole dating scene. Violet has always had a crush on Connor. When Connor is at a grocery store with his brothers, he sees Violet there and suddenly he kind of sees her in a different light. It was a cute, heartfelt romance. I loved the relationship between Connor and Violet. I really enjoyed how they had such a mature, realistic relationship. I also really loved his kids and his family. I will say towards the end of this book, there is something that happens that kind of came out of nowhere and it made me super emotional. I definitely cried. I definitely enjoyed Getting Real, but I just didn't fully love it. I definitely was expecting to really love it. Like I thought it was going to be a new favorite book and it just didn't live up to my own expectations, but it was still a fun, cute, sexy romance. Then I read Frivolous by Veronica Lassett. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. This is a like mafia romance. It follows Bass, who is ordered by his family to take down this other mafia family by seducing, then humiliating their daughter. I enjoyed like the first 100 pages of this book and then I kind of just started skim reading it. Like I feel like I shouldn't count this book as read because I probably skimmed more than I actually read. There was nothing that I loved about it. I think I just enjoyed like the mafia aspect. I will say I didn't like the female character Gianna. She was very like mean and rude, and like I understand a lot of it was just like a facade and her protecting herself, but I didn't like that aspect. I thought she was very annoying. I basically just skimmed it because I wanted to know what happened. Like I wanted to see how it ended. But other than that, I didn't really like this. The next 3 books I read were Jessica Cain novels or novellas, short stories, whatever you want to call them. So the first one I read was Tutoring the Delinquent. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This just follows Teddy, who is a college football star, and he needs tutoring, and our female character is very innocent and shy, and she becomes his tutor, and he's immediately like obsessed with her. I actually really enjoyed this. It was super over the top and dramatic and hot, and I don't know, it was just a very quick, fun read. Then I read Hefty by Jessica Cain. This one I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is more of a high school romance. Tutoring the Delinquent was college, so new adult. This one is high school, and this follows another football player who has a crush on his sister's best friend, Jill, and Jill also secretly has a crush on him. It was super cute, smutty, fun. I don't really have much else to say about it. I definitely enjoyed Tutoring the Delinquent more, but this one was still really good. And then the last Jessica Cain novel that I read was An Angel for the Devil. This one I gave 2 out of 5 stars. This follows Shelby, who lives in an apartment building with her family, but they are about to be evicted. And essentially her mom sends her to go seduce the landlord slash like owner of the apartment building so that they don't get evicted. This one was all right. Again, it was super smutty and hot and fun, but I just didn't care about the characters whatsoever. Like, I didn't care for them that much. So this one was all right. It was like a fun time, but definitely not my favorite by Jessica Cain. Then I read Jock, Romeo by Sarah Nye. This is the 6th book in the Jock Hard series. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This follows Roman and Lily, who both met each other at a party, but it was really dark. They met each other kind of in this hallway. They had a very meaningful conversation, but nothing really happened. Fast forward a year later, Rome moves in with Lily's best friend Eliza and her boyfriend Jack. Rome immediately remembers and recognizes Lily, but she doesn't recognize him at first. But they end up quickly becoming friends until they both need help with something, which requires them to fake date. I enjoyed this one. I do feel like it was kind of all over the place, and like the fake dating element doesn't come until like way later in the book. They barely fake date. It's more just like friends to lovers, honestly. Rome was such a nice guy. He was so sweet and so shy. Lily was definitely more outgoing, and she didn't really have a filter. I really enjoyed the progression between Lily and Rome and their relationship. Like, I really love how they were friends and they got to know each other really well before dating and like before anything more happened. I will say Rome's family was cute, but they kind of annoyed me. Like, I get it. They were funny and weird and over the top, but it just felt too much. Like, it felt like the author was trying so hard to make the family seem weird, but it was still like a really cute, fun, basic read. And then the final book I read in February was a reread for me, and that was Lucas by J. McLean. This is the first book in the Preston Brothers series, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. So this follows Lucas and Lainey, who have been best friends since they were 11 years old, and they are now both seniors in high school, and they must face the fact that there has always been more to their friendship. I know it's a very vague summary of this book, but I don't want to give too much away because I feel like there's not a lot of plot to this book in general. It's just kind of these two friends figuring out if they really love each other. I first read this back in November of 2016, and I'd given it 4 stars when I first read it, and I kept the rating. I really, really liked this. I forgot so much that happened in this book that it kind of felt like I was reading it for the first time. I love the whole Preston family. The kids are just so adorable, and I love their family bond. They are just this huge, funny, cute, somewhat dysfunctional family. I really loved Lucas and Lainey, and I loved how their relationship was very, very slow burn. Obviously, all of their problems would have went away if they just communicated properly and like actually said how they were each feeling. Lucas definitely annoyed me at certain parts in this book, but I mean, both characters are 18, so I'm not expecting them to make good and smart decisions. I totally forgot the whole storyline with Lainey and like everything that Lane went through. I did not remember that at all. And I did not remember the ending. I did not remember that. It's crazy that I did not remember a single thing that happened in this book, and I'm so glad I reread it because I want to read the next two books because I haven't read them yet. I definitely teared up a lot in this book. There were some very heavy and emotional moments, but I just thought this was a very sweet, heartfelt, emotional, beautiful friends to lovers romance. I feel like my only complaint about this book genuinely is just the maturity of the characters, but like I understand that, so I'm not faulting them in that. I feel like that was very realistic, but that truly is like my only issue with this book. I also feel like maybe I love this book a lot more just because it feels very nostalgic to me. I'm glad I reread this, and I'm glad it was the last book I read in February. I ended the month on a really good note. So those were all 8 books I read in February. Let me know how many books you read last month and which one was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.